Before we begin this training, I want you to be sure that you are comfortable with what I will introduce and comfortable with the way I do it, my initial assumptions based on my personal experience. After all, why should you waste your time if you find out that what I'm saying is useless or even stupid? The main goal of this course is to bring you from ground zero to a pre-startup state of mind, or more basically, help you to design and conduct any project you might be in charge of. First, think first. This course is not a MBA or business course. Everyone with an MBA degree or with a solid business experience will find that I'm presenting some very basic principles. Some will think that they are even extremely simplistic. Indeed, some concepts and method should sound familiar depending on your own background. But this course aims also to bring a perspective and align this method with your project. However, you will learn in this program why MBA students are usually failing at innovation. Indeed, this course is mostly designed for people with a scientific or engineering background. But business persons who need to understand how scientists think could probably learn some useful tips. This course is firstly designed to shape your project and put you in a better position when you will speak to the big sharks of business and innovation. A big shark can be an investor, but more simply, it can be just your boss or supervisor. I am a professional researcher. I've been doing research for around 25 years now. I've worked in different laboratories and countries. My main expertise is in material chemistry and nanotechnology. I've published more than 100 papers in internationally ranked journals. I have been cited more than 3,000 times. So, in other words, I know my job as a researcher. Surprisingly, I work in a professional environment where everyone is talking about innovation. We claim we do innovation. We refer to innovation every day. We have symposium on innovation. We ask money to support our innovation. But most of the time, the new innovation making hot topics papers in the best journals disappears after a while until another innovative hot topic shows up. And we repeat our rain dance. Can we conclude that scientists and engineers so great in research and execution fail when it comes to innovation? May be true, depending how we define innovation. So, this course was built to answer these questions. What is innovation and what can we do to make it happen? What is required to help you, scientists and engineers, becoming better innovators? And how should we proceed to build a project and bring it to real life? Let me ask you a first question. Do you recognize all these words? If you know what each word means, it's probably that you are already so involved into a business project that you are beyond the scope of this course. If you have only some clues or even absolutely no idea about SWOT or TRL or the Kipling method, you'll learn here not only what they mean, but how to use them when building your project. Question 2. What do you think of this statement? Innovation is only a question of patience and persistence. If you think that success in innovation is only driven by patience and persistence, even stubbornness, so good luck. You might be right and it could work. After all, who am I to tell you the opposite? Now, if you think that applying the right method, using the correct tools, identify the right opportunity, will better help you to assess your project, then I suggest that you continue your exploration of this course. Question 3. Do you have already one of these methods in place? In any business project, and innovation projects are business projects, money will become strategic. Maybe you don't need it, but here's the first tip. Innovation is like gambling. Spend only the money you don't need for living. Maybe you have an excellent idea. You'll build a perfect project. There's really a market for your product, but it will fail. Or, more probably, your first project will not be successful for many unforeseen reasons. If you sold your car, your house, even your cat to fund your project, if you borrowed money from your boy or girlfriend, convinced your grandma to invest in the new social media, you will be struggling forever and could make a lot of nice people you care about also miserable. Now, if you believe that there are several efficient ways to get funded, like praying or lottery, if you are sure that a business partner coming from nowhere will knock at your door, or an industry will read your last paper and offer you $1 million for developing your concept with no questions, so money shouldn't be a problem. But if you think that there will be a time when you must speak to people who are not scientists and ways to focus on what is really important without wasting the small amount of money you have on a useless task. If you think this, I still invite you to attend this course, where you will learn how to become very well prepared without wasting your money on useless things like filing a patent. And here are finally the reason why you should take this course. You feel that developing an innovation is not counting only on luck, expecting that everybody will run to support and help you, give you the money you need, even a little bit more. Besides, you don't think that success in innovation is when some VCs, venture capitalists, will give you a couple of $1 million, but when people will actually buy or use your product. You think that you must do somehow your homework, be prepared and become as professional as you can be. Complete your set of skills and being ready for the next step. Of course, experts, business people will see right that you are a rookie, but they will appreciate that you know how to address and present the important information they are looking for, that you know how to analyze the pro and con of your project, and know what is the real potential of your innovation. They will see that you have a vision, a plan, but not just a business plan. If you mostly agree with this, then this course will show you how to proceed, will give you some free tools and how to use them. You will be surprised to discover that there are so many inexpensive ways now to create a business compared to 10 years ago. As a scientist or an engineer, You know, or you are currently learning how to conduct a research project, find information, set experiments, analyze results, and present them. Your mindset is probably in the research-driven configuration, led by curiosity, need to know why this thing happens, how that system works, or how to make it working. Building an innovation project will use most of the skills you have already, but the structure and order will be different. Actually, one of the major failures in innovation projects is when people conduct innovation as they would do for a research project. In this course, we'll see how to switch from research-driven mindset to the innovation-driven mode. Did you know that the first reason for failure in innovation, it's not the failure of the system itself, the prototype. The main reason of failure is that people discover that there's no market for their product, when everything else is good and ready to go. As a scientist or engineer, we always focus on the solution, try to make it working, to improve it, make it better, even perfect. This is how we work. We have an idea and we want to see if we can make it real, and we want to deliver the best of what we can. And we genuinely believe that innovation follows the same process. But it's not. It's time for another tip. Innovation always begins with a problem, never with a solution. Most of the time, scientists and engineers will develop the perfect solution, then stop, look around, and ask, "We have here a wonderful solution. Does anybody have a problem this solution could solve?" In this course, we'll see how to start your project from the right spot. Find an unsolved problem you can fix, or bring a better solution. And we'll see also how we can identify and define different types of innovation. Indeed, you don't innovate only when you create a startup, but most of the time when you're working or with a company. In a way, we can almost say you innovate when you try to find a solution to a problem. Even getting a job or a simple internship is a problem. If you want to solve it, you must first analyze it and build a solution that buyers, that it's your future employer or supervisor, will agree with. Being able to understand the problem of a company and convert these problems in a scientific and engineering project, but with taking into account additional parameters like market, customers, the company strategy, this is also relevant to innovation. So let's say it's now high and clear. Innovation, it's not just a discovery, an invention. It's not only a new technology. Technology is often part of it, of course, but it's not enough. And here comes the magic triangle. Innovation is a response to a problem. Without a problem, there's no innovation. The main part of the innovation is to find a solution, of course. But there's a third vertex in this magic triangle. Users, customers. It's of prime importance to understand that an innovation exists only if people are ready to use or buy it. Therefore, innovation requires an additional combination of skills beyond pure research expertise. In this course, we will explore how we can find and define the best first customer for your project and why they have to be your first choice. Among the different skills you must acquire, there are two important skills. First, being able to build a project, to identify goals, define tasks, and check if they have been achieved. It's also important to know what will be the progress of your project. You never go from an idea to the final commercial product. There are steps in this development, and your complete project can be divided in several successive projects. How do you define them? How do you set the technology level you expect to achieve at the end of each? This course will show you how to answer this important question. Secondly, there's a very important point, which we are not really used to: talking to non-experts. Usually, we give details on our systems with a lot of technical details, plenty of information. We do explain very well, but all of this information is usually just gibberish for an audience with no scientific or engineering background. And by the way, these are probably the kind of people you will talk to first. In this course, you will learn to structure your talks and identify what are the most important informations you should deliver, based on the attendance expectation, not on your wish. Here, the last tip of the day. As scientists and engineers, we are trained to explain, describe. And this is our natural trend, because we believe that our audience will analyze the information we provide, chew on them, and then conclude that, yes, our project is excellent and should be fully supported and funded. Actually, this doesn't work for one good reason. People usually never decide first based on logical analysis. More specifically, people who decide on logical analysis, like performance versus cost, are never the people who will support you first, because they are waiting for others to test it first. So, when you present your project for support, funding, help, team recruitment, you must convince, not explain. Along this course, you learn how to structure and present in a better and hopefully more convincing way our project. So, to make the long story short, this course, Innovation for Scientists, will introduce all concepts and tools you need to design and build your innovation project. The full course is divided in 6 modules. Module 1 deals with exploring what we mean by innovation, what is required for innovation, and what is not required actually. Module 2 will address a very important step in innovation: creativity. How can we be creative but with method, with the right tool to do it? Module 3, it's kind of the following step to that, because innovation is about being able to analyze a problem. So more than the solution, more than the answer that we can provide, first we must define the question, and we'll see how we can do it with the right tools that will help us to actually squeeze the problem and find the correct set of questions we should be able to answer to. Module 4 is based on the quotes by Robert De Niro in the Taxi Driver, the movie. are you talking to me? If we develop something, we must integrate from the beginning who will be the first users of our something. So we must define what should be the perfect customer user that we should talk to first. And this is what this model will describe, and with the tools and methods you can do to define it. Module 5 is called En route to innovation, and it can be surprising to see that the word innovation appears only at that stage. Now you must define and structure your solution, and you must know where you set yourself in the different type of development and how you can present the problem and the solution to the right persons. This is what this module will address. And finally, module 6, which is finally time to work, will show you how to organize your working project by setting what are the important steps, what should be done, how long it will take, who will be in charge of it, what will be the documents or product you have to deliver along the path of this. One important feature is that we do not cover in this course the financial side. Balancing your budget, defining and predicting sales, calculating costs, it's something very important when you will build your real actual startup project. We do not address it here. That can be addressed in parallel, and you must contact me for that. So, to conclude, this course, taking you from zero knowledge level to what I call the pre-startup stage. That means when you have all the mindset and tools ready to take a problem and see how you can organize the solution, find that the solution is viable, that people are willing to use it. So we can say that it's actually your shortest way from research to innovation. And I wish you will first enjoy this first model, and you will be looking for continuing with the complete course. So see you soon on our teaching platform.